Hey everyone, cheers from the airport. So some of you are aware that I fly a lot. Let's be honest, most of you are aware of that at this point. I think also most of you are aware that I and my wife and a lot of other people we work with are the top tier of our airline's loyalty program. And Delta Land, which is where you see me a lot, that's their Medallion program, and I am a Diamond Medallion. My wife is a Diamond, have been for 10 years. I've been with them for 10 years. Can you believe that? I'm within spitting distance, actually, of their secret, other levels. They're million-miler levels, right? So I've got 900,000 miles on Delta Metal at this point in my life. I am on a first-name basis with most of the staff. I just said hello to all of them on the way in. I know the bartenders. I know everyone. I can't remember the last time I bought a first-class ticket, but that's what I get upgraded to all the time. That's part of being a frequent flyer. And Tarah and I are walking away from it all. We are leaving. Why, you ask? Well, that's what we're going to talk about. So, what happened? Why am I doing this? Why is this happening to Delta? Some of you may know this. This was in the news. It actually made the mainstream press, not just the travel press. Delta shook up their loyalty program. And a lot of airlines do this all the time. They're always trying to fine-tune and fiddle with the dials and see how they can squeeze a lot of profit out of people while pleasing their customers. Unfortunately, that model broke down pretty badly in the past several years or more. But it's because, and I'll link to there's a whole bunch of papers and videos about this. It's fascinating. For those who don't know, airlines aren't airlines anymore. Airlines all became banks. I don't know if you are familiar with this concept. The airlines, they are banks that happen to own planes. And on the side, they fly people around. But the reason that they are always hawking their credit cards, in fact, air carriers had programs, United or it was US Air had one called Cash Cow, which would actively reward their flight attendants whose job is, safety and comfort. They would reward them for shilling out that credit card pamphlet in the air. Airlines, every airline you've ever heard of, the big players, they make more money on the orders of magnitude more every year from their crappy credit card program than they ever can from flying people around. And this is why in their latest shakeup, Delta just went mask off. And it used to be you earned status. They were called miles for a reason. You earned status with airlines by racking up miles. And then they kind of got these credit cards. And you're like, well, you can also get miles on your dollars. And, okay, people thought that was a little weird, but sure, some people got the credit card. Delta has thrown it out completely in terms of miles flown. Starting next year, is it next year? The year after? Doesn't really matter. I don't care. Delta has announced that everything is all about the Benjamins, baby. It's all about using that credit card, spending money. Your money that you spend with Delta is all that they care about now. It doesn't matter how many butt-in-seat miles, how many upgrades, where you're going, who you're flying. It's all about money. And I have no interest, first of all, in their useless credit cards because Delta is tied to Amex. And as a business person who travels all around the world, I need a credit card that's accepted everywhere, so I'm never going to use a fucking Amex. But in general, the levels of target that they have established are unachievable. And you could say that there's a reason they're going for that. And we'll talk about the levels of every major carrier. But what Delta has done, the reason it got press is because it's outlandish. And it's just a real kick in the teeth to all of us who have been with them for so long. They've even overhauled that whole how do you become million miler and what you get. What you get is kind of lame. It's silver status, which no one cares about. But even that, again, I'm right on the finish line, and they're like, no, what about F you? No, thank you. Now, undoubtedly, some of you are going to be banging away in the comments if you're not already. They're going to be like, no, they walked all that back, right? They heard the customers and all the people and the outrage, and Ed Bastian, the CEO, he made these comments in the press. I don't care. First of all, making statements that says, oh, we're actually, oops, lol, JK, we're not going to do it. That means nothing until you put it in writing and say exactly what you're going to do, and they haven't. But as anyone knows, in any relationship, if you had an intimate partner who raised their hand in anger, and even if they didn't hit you, and even if later You start packing your stuff to leave, and they're like, oh, baby, I would never have actually hit you. I wasn't going to do it. It's just been a real hard time at work. Steve's been really riding my ass. The time to leave is then. You don't wait for them to actually hit you in the face. All you need is the sign that they wanted to. And that's what all of us at Delta and the customer base have determined. Just because they say, oh, we're going to delay those implementations and we're going to maybe moderate it down. That just means they're going to nickel and dime us for the next however many years until they go where they want to go. And where they want to go is to make their tiers of status unachievable to anyone except the uber rich, who will do nothing but shell out super high dollar fares all the time on their credit card. And I have no interest in that. That's not the way I travel. That's not, sometimes I'm traveling because a business is booking me. A client is booking me, a conference is booking my travel. And if that's not on my Delta credit card, does that make me less desirable to Delta? Maybe, but that also means Delta is less desirable to me. So, where are Tarah and I going? Alaska. Alaska Air is where we're going. We have a lot of friends being locals that this is their main carrier. We've talked to them. We've talked to business associates. Frankly, some of the best information I got was just talking to Alaska passengers. I stood in the airport outside their lounges and then inside their lounges and just said, hey, I'm a Delta Diamond, been one for a decade. I'm thinking of switching. Why do you like Alaska? What's good? What's not? I got such cool conversations, so much good feedback. It was really, really helpful. And now I'm asking you, what's your feedback? Tell me down in the comments and in the social medias and all the places. Do you like their program? Do you like their product? Do you like their app? How good is the mobile app? How easy is it to book a quick ticket with points and then throw it away if you change your mind? Do you like their in-flight entertainment? Do you like their amenities? Do they have Wi-Fi? Do they have in-seat power? Does it work? Doesn't always work on some of the Delta planes. I was on a misrouted itinerary. I flew Alaska once years ago, and I think one of their things was everyone, no matter what seat you're in, you got free beer. Do they still do that? They can't still do that. If you're in this area, Alaska's the hidden gem. And the more I'm learning about their program from the people I've spoken to, my friends, my colleagues, my business associates, I am crazy for not having done this sooner, possibly. I went in, I took a tour of their clubs, I spoke to their staff, I spoke to other customers, I learned all about their loyalty program. Yeah, I'm impressed. And I'm interested in your opinions, right? How many of you out there fly with Alaska Air? Is that any of you? If it is, sound off in the comments, hit me up. For those of you, by the way, who this is all news to you, if you're not familiar with loyalty programs, every air carrier you've ever heard of has basically 4 tiers of loyalty program. Way back in the day when all this was new, they were almost universally called silver, gold, usually platinum, and then some unique top identifier that every airline would have a special name for their top tier. And again, back in the day, it used to be almost universally 25,000 miles, 50,000 miles, 75, and typically 100. Now, of those tiers, silver, the lowest tier, is nothing. It doesn't matter. You get that for free, usually with getting a credit card or some bullshit. It comes in cereal boxes to get silver. And that doesn't give you much. It gives you maybe a free bag. Gold is the first real tier with any airline. And most airlines, it was $50K. I think Alaska is even a little less. I think they might be 40. I'm not sure. Check me on that. And then platinum was meant to be the very good tier. You start to get real benefits. You start to get preferential upgrades of a higher caliber. You get sometimes certificates to use for free travel or free upgrades. And the top tier, which I've been on all of them, right? I was United. United called it 1K for their 100,000 milers. I was United 1K forever. I've been Delta Diamond forever. American and all those, they have their own top tier. I think they call theirs, is it executive status? That's supposed to be really hard to hit. I mean, there were years I almost wasn't going to make it. So you book a mileage run at the end of the year. I remember on Dark Tangent's recommendation, I went to see Korea for one night. And there you go, maintain that status. Now, Alaska, because they're this little scrappy second-class carrier, they're a second-tier carrier, basically. They are partnered with big boy network of airlines, right? They're partnered with the One World Alliance. And this gets into alliances now. Again, I'm just going to give you some information. Let's say when I was with United and I had to fly internationally, like United's a big airline, but they don't have flights all over the globe. So I would fly partner carriers. I'd fly Lufthansa all over Europe, right? Because I'm getting credit within the Star Alliance network. That was United's network. Tarah and I with SkyTeam is Delta, SkyTeam network. I could fly KLM. I could fly Asian carriers like Korean Air. If I'm on their metal, I'm still earning status. And within the networks, they would have tiers as well, right? One World, maybe this has all changed all the carriers now, but for now, I just checked this out. With Alaska, with One World, in the One World network, there are tiers, right? It's RBG, right? It's red, blue, green. You've got Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. And those correlate to a lot of tiers with all the airlines. So like on American Air, if you're gold or platinum or executive, and with Alaska, if you're gold or they call it 75K or 100K, Alaska, you got to get some better names. But if you're within those, then you're treated as Emerald or Sapphire, etc. This is amazing. This is almost like unfathomably good for me, and I'll explain why in a bit. Because I'm going to kind of rocket up to the top status possible, not just on Alaska, but within all of the One World network, which includes arguably some of the best airlines out there. This is your British Air. One World is the luxury kind of brand in terms of loyalty networks across airlines. But all my Alaska Air people, tell me about things that I should know. Tell me down in the comments. Whiskey folk, the in-flight whiskey on Delta, God love them, is Woodford Reserve. It's actually pretty high caliber. What's the in-flight brown liquor on Alaska? Anybody know? Tell me down below. So here's a big question, right? Baggage. How has Alaska been for you on baggage? What are your baggage allowances? I mean, I could look that up online, but do you have lost or misrouted bags with any more frequency than you've had on other carriers? A friend of mine, they just flew in and out of Phoenix on Alaska, and literally with a gun case, they lost the case both times. They misrouted it. But then Alaska just delivered it with like a courier service that just dropped it off in front of a house. Both ways. No signature, no verification. You know how much I fly with my guns. That's a little, hey. Tell me about your baggage experience if you want to. I'm all ears. Indeed, coming to you from the Delta Sky Club, which is an integral part of my experience whenever I'm traveling. I was interested in the Alaska lounges. Here at Seattle, took a tour of them. I went around when I was asking everybody questions with that sign. They have 3 lounges here, including the newly renovated D Lounge, the beautiful North Lounge. It's got a fucking fire pit. And I went in, I checked them all out. The staff was super nice. I told them what I was facing and thinking of making the move. And they're like, oh yeah, come in, look around, have a beer, what you want to do. So I really, really like the lounge system. Now, Alaska only has 9 lounges, right? Because they're a small carrier. They're a West Coast carrier. But if you go with their Lounge Plus membership, which I would, and I would get that for free as their 1K top tier, status, you get access to 90 other lounges all around America because One World, because of American Air. Not to mention lounges all around the world, like you're part of the One World network. So again, tell me what your thoughts are. Do you enjoy the lounges? Are there something I need to know about them? I am definitely keen on that. This is almost like, again, to really make use of Alaska Air properly, you should live where we live here in Cascadia. But if you do, it's almost a hack. Being able to hit status more easily than you can with the major players, and being able to get a lounge membership for cheaper than you can with the major players, you then get access to all these lounges everywhere. That's bananas. I am super into this. Now, I am sad. Don't let my coping mechanisms fool you. I'm going to miss the people. I really did feel the Delta difference, as they like to say in corporate speak. We literally are on a first name basis with the staff all over their route network and all their focus cities and their hubs and their lounges and everything else. We give these people Christmas cards, right? In particular, I am going to miss, and Tarah is going to miss, Columba. We're going to miss Chen. We're going to miss Barbara. We're going to miss Semegnu. We're going to miss Brenda. We're going to miss Jenny. We're going to miss all the people who used to be behind the bar. We've got Peter. We've got Liz. Oh my God, Liz sees me a mile away and she shouts across the Sky Club. She's like, "Deviant, how you doing?" It's very cute. Yeah, Alex isn't here anymore, but like the staff just, they care. They recognize us. They're so lovely. Can anyone really replace Nancy behind the bar before the pandemic? I don't know if they can. The Redcoats who are the supreme problem solvers. I'm going to miss Diane. I'm going to miss Lillian. These are people whose phone numbers I have saved in my contacts. And if I was having a problem in certain airports, I would just text or call them. Andrew sorted out my gun cases so many times here in Seattle. Like, these people have become a part of our world. And it's a shame, right? This is a case of executives, as we've seen in many other, we've heard this story before. This is executives trying to squeeze the system to wring more profit out of the product for their shareholders and for their bonuses. This is a process that the author Corey Doctorow has talked about. He's told me about, and I mean, he's told all of you too, if you read his blog, right? This is Enshitification. You start off awesome to rake people in and get them attached, and then you turn everything into crap in the pursuit of shareholder value. And as customers, though, we can leave. We can go to other airlines. It's really the employees who are getting screwed. And these people are like, silly to say, they're like family to us. So I feel really bad for them losing a large chunk of their customer base. And again, maybe Delta will do something to turn it around, but I don't think they will. Again, I'm going to link below, and I'll even link at the end card of this video. It'll be about how airlines aren't really airlines anymore. They care about their credit card, and they care about your dollars that you're spending more than the miles that you're flying. That's the nature of the beast. And is it sad for me? Of course it is. I'm going to have to learn whole new parts of the airport, whole terminals that I've never been in. A lot of places I can walk through like it's the back of my hand. I know the terminology. I know the phrasing. I know the software. Literally, you know what it's like to talk to a person in a Zach Posen Delta uniform, and I can mention like, oh, what does Snap say? Because Snap is like their booking and routing software, or Nexus is the baggage software that Delta uses. So if I'm looking to a lost bag, I'm like, oh, where does Nexus say it was last scanned? Or Flight Family is all the little devices that they have. Everyone's got a mobile phone. If you don't know about Flight Family, I should do a whole video about Flight Family and what it means and how useful it is. Delta really made some good innovations, but I'm going to have to figure it out. I'm going to have to be in a new place for the first time in over a decade with Alaska. And I'm excited about it, though. I hope that it is as good as people think it is and people say it is. I'm already signed up, as I said. Tarah and I are already there. This is done. It's already happened. We even signed up for their crappy credit cards. Well, I'll try it out. I don't know. At least it's a Visa. I can use it in regular places. Hopefully I'm still nimble enough and brave enough to push myself into places I haven't been. There was a comfort that came from just knowing the expected. Travel can be very stressful, and having a consistent experience that I could predict and look forward to, that made a difference. If we're not learning every day and growing every day, we're dying every day. So I look forward to this as an opportunity to grow. And I hope you're doing the same. I hope wherever you are, whatever you do, the world is unpredictable and scary, but push yourself out of your comfort zone. Go to your dangerous place. If you stop doing that, you're just getting 1 foot closer to the grave. So wherever you go, whatever you do, I hope you travel somewhere fun and new and unexpected. Maybe I'll see you in the sky. My usual thing, if you spot me in an airport, say hi. I'm happy to see you. I'm happy to talk about where you've been, where you're going, what you're doing. Wherever you do wind up, do me a favor and just stay safe out there, okay?